the camera. So I hope you all can see me. So I'm Sherry Austin, registered nurse and executive longevity advisor. Thanks for waiting with me. I seem to be having technical difficulties every week, but that's okay. We're going to press on. I'm here to just talk to you about decision fatigue. I'm a registered nurse and executive longevity advisor, and I help CEO founders and senior leaders protect decision quality and reduce hidden leadership risk as they scale. Most leaders think decision fatigue comes from doing too much. It doesn't. It comes from losing the capacity to think clearly while still performing at a high level. You're still showing up, still making decisions, still leading. But if we're being honest, some decisions are taking longer. They feel heavier, and your clarity isn't what it used to be. That's not random. That is decision fatigue. In my 28 years working as a nurse in high acuity environments, I've seen this pattern over and over again. High performers don't slow down, they compensate. Decision fatigue is not about how many decisions you make, it's about the quality of your cognitive energy when you make them. When your system is under recover, your brain prioritizes speed over accuracy, and your tolerance for complexity drops. Your decision range narrows, and you don't always notice it in real time. Decision quality declines quietly long before performance does. There are 3 takeaways I want you to leave with, and takeaway number 1 is how to recognize early signals. Number 2 is why high performers are most vulnerable, and number 3 is how to stabilize your cognitive capacity. How do we recognize early signs of decision fatigue? Most people wait until they feel overwhelmed. That is not an early sign. Decision fatigue starts much earlier, and it looks like simple decisions that now feel harder and heavier to make. These are decisions that used to be easy. You can make it at the drop of a hat, and now, not so much. You second guess yourself all the time, wondering, are you making the right decision? Are you doing the right thing? And you default to safe or familiar choices. You avoid complex thinking. That's often a reflection of underlying physiological instability, which we'll address in a moment. You tend to default to familiar patterns because it looks easier. I recognize this. I don't have to think about this as much. So your tolerance for ambiguity drops, and your curiosity for strategic thinking, it narrows. This isn't a discipline issue. This is a capacity signal. Takeaway number 2 is why high performers are most vulnerable. High performers don't slow down when capacity drops. They view this as a performance failure or something's wrong with them, so they tend to push harder. So instead of correcting the problem, it's like they work longer, they do more things, and they override their fatigue signals. And I want to make a key distinction here. Compensation does not equal capacity. You can still perform, but behind the scenes, your cognitive efficiency is dropping. Recovery debt is building, and your decision quality is narrowing. You're not operating at full capacity, you're operating on compensation. Because all of that load is being pulled from the same finite resource, your cognitive capacity. Yesterday's capacity does not sustain today's demand. How do you stabilize cognitive capacity? You don't fix decision fatigue with better time management. You fix it by stabilizing the system behind your decisions. Here's some anchors that you can use to stabilize your cognitive capacity. Number 1, don't stack high-stake decisions back to back. Identify when your brain is the sharpest. For example, my first 60 to 90 minutes are reserved for high-level decisions only. Then I step away, I reset, and before moving into creative work. And then lastly, my last block is administrative tasks because I don't have to use as much cognitive bandwidth for those things. Number 2 is to reduce decision volume. Automate or eliminate low value decisions. Standardize where possible. My team has workflows that they utilize, and I have protocols and SOPs in place so that only decisions that I need to make are forwarded to me, and everything else is automated or delegated. And number 3 is increase recovery inputs. Sleep quality, not just duration. Research has shown that sleep efficiency, which is how restorative your sleep cycles are, is a stronger predictor of performance, mood, and longevity than duration alone. Mental breaks between cognitive tasks, like I like to take meditative walks, or I'll go to the gym, I'll fit in a midday gym session. They're essential to prevent mental fatigue, reduce chronic stress, and restore attentional focus, which directly improves productivity and performance and prevent cognitive overload. The last anchor for your cognitive capacity, to stabilize your cognitive capacity, is nutrition stability. Nutritional stability matters more than most leaders realize, because when your blood sugar is unstable, your cognitive performance is unstable. So we focus on protein forward meals and minimizing insulin spikes and crashes. You're not trying to protect the quality. You're not trying to do more, but you're trying to protect the quality of how you think. If you're recognizing even subtle shifts in your clarity, your focus, your decision making, this is exactly where most leaders wait too long. And by the time it becomes obvious, decision quality has already declined. Because once decision quality starts to decline, everything downstream follows: execution, your team performance, and ultimately the results of your company. This is the work I do. I help CEO founders and senior leaders stabilize their capacity so they can stay clear, decisive, and effective under pressure. If this resonated, DM me clarity or book a private strategy call, and we'll identify exactly where your capacity is breaking down and what it takes to restore it. I'll be coming on every week on LinkedIn Live, and prayerfully, we're going to work out these kinks, because I am an excellent executive longevity advisor. Tech skills need some work. But thank you for joining my mini executive longevity session on decision fatigue. You have a wonderful night.